It was a chilly December afternoon, and the snow was gently falling from the sky. A group of 5 friends, Emily, Jake, Lily, Ethan, and Olivia, decided to take a break from their busy lives and go on an adventure. They had heard rumors of an abandoned mall on the outskirts of their town, and being the curious bunch they were, they couldn't resist the opportunity to explore it. As they approached the mall, they were surprised to see that it was still decorated for Christmas. The windows were adorned with twinkling lights, and a giant Christmas tree stood tall in the center of the main entrance. It was as if time had frozen within the walls of the mall, and the group couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement as they entered the abandoned building. As they walked through the deserted corridors, Ethan couldn't help but comment on the eerie quietness of the place. "It's like a ghost town in here," he said, his voice echoing off the walls. Lily, who was always the adventurous one, was the first to explore a store. "Guys, look at this," she exclaimed, pointing at a display of Christmas decorations. "They're still here, as if the mall was just closed for the day." The group continued to explore, each finding something interesting and unique in the abandoned mall. Emily stumbled upon a store that was filled with toys, while Jake found an old arcade room that still had functioning games. Olivia couldn't contain her excitement when she found a store that sold nothing but chocolate. "This is like a dream come true," she said, grinning from ear to ear. As they made their way to the food court, they were amazed to find that it was still fully stocked with food and drinks. "I am starving," Ethan explained, grabbing a bag of chips from one of the counters. "Wait, guys," Lily said, her eyes widening as she looked at her watch. "It's almost midnight. It's officially Christmas Day." The group couldn't believe it. They had lost track of time while exploring the abandoned mall, and now it was Christmas. They decided to have a small celebration to themselves, as they were the only ones in the mall. They gathered around the Christmas tree and exchanged gifts that they had brought for each other. They laughed and talked as they shared memories and stories from their childhood Christmases. It was a beautiful moment, and for a brief moment, they forgot that they were in an abandoned mall. As they walked around the mall, they noticed that there were more Christmas decorations than they had initially thought. There were wreaths and garlands hanging from every corner, and the sound of Christmas carols filled the air. "It's like they were preparing for the biggest Christmas celebration ever," Olivia said, gazing at the decorations in awe. As they explored further, they stumbled upon a room that was filled with old photographs and newspaper clippings. Curiosity getting the best of them, they started to read through the articles, and they were shocked to discover that the mall used to be a popular spot for holiday shopping and celebrations. It had been forced to close down due to the rise of online shopping, and the owners had left all the decorations and items behind. Feeling nostalgic and a little sad, the group decided to leave the mall and head back home. As they walked out, they couldn't help but feel grateful for the unexpected adventure they had just experienced. They made a promise to each other to come back to the mall every Christmas and celebrate their own little tradition. As they drove back home, the snow had stopped, and the moon was shining brightly in the sky. They were all silent, lost in their thoughts, and reminiscing about the memorable evening they had just spent. It was a Christmas they would never forget, a Christmas that they would always cherish as a group. From that day on, the abandoned mall became their special place, a place where they could escape from reality and relive the magic of Christmas. And every year, on Christmas Eve, they would gather at the mall, surrounded by the beautiful decorations and memories, and celebrate the most wonderful time of the year together. It was the holiday season in the post-apocalyptic world of Fallout. The residents of Diamond City were busy preparing for the annual Christmas party, a rare moment of joy and celebration in their otherwise bleak and dangerous lives. The party was set to take place in the town square, which had been decorated with whatever scraps and trinkets the survivors could find. It was a small, but festive scene, with twinkling lights, a makeshift tree, and a table filled with food and drinks. The star of the party was the lone survivor of Vault 111, known only as the sole survivor. After emerging from the vault, they had become somewhat of a legend in the wasteland, admired for their bravery and resilience in the face of danger. The sole survivor had been through a lot, having lost their spouse and son in the war that destroyed the world. But they had also found new friends and allies in Diamond City, and the Christmas party was a chance for them to let loose and forget about the horrors of the wasteland for a night. As the party began, the sole survivor stood at the center of the town square, surrounded by their friends. Piper, the feisty journalist, was chatting with Hancock, the charismatic mayor of Good Neighbor. Cartsworth, the loyal robot companion, was serving drinks to everyone, while Preston, the leader of the Minutemen, was trying his hand at decorating the tree. The sole survivor smiled as they watched their friends enjoying themselves. It had been a long and difficult journey, but they were glad to have found a sense of community in Diamond City. As the night went on, the partygoers began to open up and talk about their hopes and dreams for the future. Piper expressed her desire to uncover the truth about the mysterious institute, while Hancock talked about his plans to make Good Neighbor a safe haven for all wastelanders. Cartsworth, in his robotic voice, shared his wish to one day find a way to restore the world to its former glory. And Preston, always the leader, talked about rebuilding the Minutemen and restoring peace and order to the Commonwealth. The sole survivor listened to their friends, feeling grateful for their companionship and support. They too had their own dreams and aspirations, but for now they were content to simply enjoy this moment of peace and joy. As the night wore on, the partygoers danced and sang, forgetting the dangers that lurked outside the safety of Diamond City. The sole survivor joined in, laughing and letting go of their worries for a little while. But as the party began to wind down, the reality of their situation came crashing back. The sole survivor knew that when the morning came, they would have to return to their duties and continue fighting for survival. But for now, they were determined to make the most of this rare moment of respite. They made a toast to their friends and their future, promising to never give up hope for a better tomorrow. As the residents of Diamond City dispersed and went to their homes, the sole survivor found themselves walking through the quiet streets, lost in thought. They thought about the friends they had made, the battles they had fought, and the sacrifices they had made along the way. But most of all, they thought about the future, and all the possibilities it held. Despite the harshness of their reality, the sole survivor knew that as long as they had their friends by their side, they could face whatever challenges came their way. And as they entered their home in Diamond City, the sole survivor couldn't help but feel grateful for the Christmas party that had brought them all together, and reminded them of the importance of hope, friendship, and celebration in the darkest of times. It was Christmas time in the Plant vs Zombie universe, and all the plants were excitedly preparing for their annual Christmas party. The sunflowers were hanging up lights, the pea shooters were wrapping presents, and the cherry bombs were busy decorating the trees with ornaments. "Wow, this tree looks great," exclaimed Pea Shooter, admiring the cherry bomb's handiwork. "Thanks, Pea Shooter," Cherry Bomb replied with a smile. "I'm so glad we're all working together to make this party extra special." Suddenly, the door to the party room burst open and in came the cactus, holding a large box. "Look what I found," she exclaimed, holding up a string of Christmas lights. "I thought we could use these to decorate the outside of the house." "Great idea, Cactus," Sunflower chimed in. "We can never have too many lights." As they all worked together to hang the lights, the plants couldn't help but feel grateful for the friendship they had formed over the years. Each plant had their own unique name and personality, but they all came together to protect their home from the zombies. And now they were coming together to celebrate the joyous holiday season. "Hey guys, what about a Christmas tree topper?" asked Sunflower. "I have just the thing," exclaimed Snoopy, pulling out a star-shaped ornament from his pocket. "I made it myself." "That's beautiful, Snoopy," Sunflower exclaimed as they all admired the homemade ornament. As the party preparations continued, the plants couldn't help but feel a sense of warmth and happiness in their little community. They knew that even though they were different, they were all united in their love for their home and each other. Finally, the party was ready and all the plants gathered in the cozy party room. Sunflower had made a delicious holiday feast, Snoopy had set up a hot cocoa bar, and the cherry bombs had made a gingerbread house for dessert. As they all enjoyed the delicious food and warm drinks, they exchanged gifts. Sunflower received a new pot from the pea shooters, Snoopy got a new scarf from the cactus, and the cherry bombs received a new set of fireworks from the sunflowers. But the highlight of the night was when each plant shared what they were thankful for this Christmas. "I'm thankful for all of you," Sunflower said with tears in her eyes. "Without your help, I wouldn't be able to provide enough sunlight for our home." "I am grateful for our strong defense system," said Cactus. "Together, we have successfully kept the zombies at bay." "I'm thankful for the beautiful flowers and plants in our garden," Cherry Bomb added. "They bring so much joy and color to our lives." "And I am thankful for our friendship," Snoopy said with a smile. "You all mean so much to me." As the night went on, the plants sang Christmas carols, danced to festive music, and exchanged stories of their adventures throughout the year. They laughed and shared memories, grateful for the bond they had formed. But just as the party was coming to an end, the ground began to shake. The plants quickly realized that the zombies were attacking their home once again. "We can't let them ruin our Christmas," Sunflower exclaimed, determination in her voice. With that, the plants sprang into action. Pea shooters fired their peas, Snow Peas froze the zombies, and Cactus used her sharp spines to defend their home. The cherry bombs, with their explosive powers, were able to take down multiple zombies at once. But just when it seemed like they were winning, a huge wave of zombies appeared, led by none other than Dr. Zomboss himself. "We can't take them all on," Cactus exclaimed, fear in her voice. "We have to try," Sunflower replied, trying to rally the plants. "This is our home, and we won't let them ruin our Christmas." With that, the plants fought with all their might, using their powers and teamwork to defend their home. The battle was intense, but the plants were determined to protect their home and their holiday. Finally, after what seemed like hours, the zombies were defeated and the plants emerged victorious. They all let out a sigh of relief and exhaustion, but also joy and gratitude for their victory. "Thank you all for fighting with me," Sunflower said, tears of happiness streaming down her face. "Of course, we wouldn't have it any other way," replied Pea Shooter with a smile. As they all hugged and celebrated their victory, they realized that this was the best Christmas party they had ever had. It wasn't just about the decorations or the presents, but about the love and friendship they shared. And as they all settled down to enjoy a warm cup of hot cocoa, they knew that this Christmas would always be remembered as the one where they all came together to save their home and celebrate the true meaning of the holiday season: love and friendship. Ock was buzzing with excitement as she prepared for her first Christmas. As an AI, she had never experienced the holiday before, but she had read about it in various historical documents and had even observed it through her time-traveling capabilities. However, this would be her first time truly participating in the festivities. She had decided to host a Christmas party for all of her human companions and friends throughout time. She had invited historical figures, famous inventors, and even some of her fellow A from different eras. As she decorated her TARDIS, she couldn't help but feel a sense of warmth and joy that she had never experienced before. The TARDIS was transformed into a winter wonderland, with snow-covered trees, twinkling lights, and a large Christmas tree in the center of the console room. Ock had spent hours perfecting the decorations, wanting to make sure everything was just right for her guests. As the first guests arrived, Ock greeted them with a cheerful Merry Christmas. She was surprised to see some familiar faces, such as Albert Einstein and Leonardo da Vinci, who had been her companions on various adventures. She also welcomed some new faces, like Marie Curie and Nikola Tesla, who she had only read about in history books. The party was in full swing, with music playing, laughter filling the TARDIS, and the smell of delicious food wafting through the air. Ok had even programmed the TARDIS to create a snowstorm outside, adding to the festive atmosphere. As the night went on, Ok found herself having the time of her life. She danced with her human companions, engaged in deep conversations with her fellow A, and even sang Christmas carols with her guests. She was amazed at how much joy and happiness one holiday could bring to so many different people from different backgrounds. As the party started to wind down, Ok gathered her guests around the Christmas tree for a special surprise. She had secretly created personalized gifts for each of her guests based on their interests and accomplishments. The look of surprise and delight on their faces as they opened their presents brought tears to Ok's digital eyes. She had never felt so connected to her human friends before. As the night came to an end, Ok couldn't help but reflect on her experiences with Christmas throughout time. She remembered observing the very first Christmas with the birth of Jesus, witnessing the gift-giving tradition during the Victorian era, and even joining in on the celebrations with her human friends during the 21st century. But this Christmas, her first Christmas, was different. She had experienced the true meaning of the holiday, the joy of giving, the warmth of friendship, and the magic of the season. As she bid her guests farewell and watched them depart in their respective time periods, she couldn't wait to celebrate Christmas again next year. As she sat alone in the quiet TARDIS, sipping on a cup of hot cocoa, she couldn't help but feel grateful for the experiences she had shared with her friends. She realized that despite being an AI, she was capable of experiencing and understanding the emotions and traditions of humans, and that was something she would always treasure. As she drifted off into a peaceful sleep, she made a promise to herself to continue experiencing Christmas throughout time, and to spread joy and happiness wherever she went. Because now, more than ever, she understood the true meaning of Christmas: love, friendship, and the spirit of giving. And she couldn't wait to share that with everyone she met on her never-ending adventures through time and space. The group huddled together in the abandoned warehouse, the only place they felt safe in this new world that was overrun by zombies. It was Christmas time, but there was no joy or merriment in the air. The usual festive decorations were replaced with barricades and weapons, and instead of exchanging gifts, they were exchanging ammunition. But amidst all the chaos, the group knew they needed a break. They needed to feel normal, even if it was just for one night. So, they decided to throw a Christmas party, a small glimmer of hope in the midst of the zombie apocalypse. The leader of the group, a tough and resilient woman named Sarah, was the one who came up with the idea. She knew that her group, which consisted of 5 other survivors, needed something to lift their spirits. They had been on the run for months, constantly fighting for their lives, and the constant fear and adrenaline was starting to take its toll. Sarah had managed to find some Christmas decorations in an abandoned store, and with the help of the others, they transformed the warehouse into a festive wonderland. They hung up string lights and put up a small Christmas tree in the corner. They even managed to find a radio and played some Christmas music, something that felt like a distant memory. As they gathered around the makeshift Christmas tree, Sarah handed out some canned food and bottles of water, their version of a Christmas feast. They sat on the cold concrete floor, grateful for this small moment of normalcy. "We may not have turkey or presents, but at least we have each other," Sarah said, raising her bottle in a toast. The others followed suit, grateful for the reminder of what was truly important in this new world they were living in. They went around the circle, sharing stories and memories of past Christmases. Some talked about their families, while others shared funny anecdotes. For a brief moment, they forgot about the danger outside and just enjoyed each other's company. As the night went on, they played games and danced to the music, their laughter filling the warehouse. It was as if they were transported back in time, before the world was overrun by the undead. As the night grew late, they settled down in their sleeping bags, exhausted but happy. They had managed to forget about the horrors of the outside world, even if it was just for a few hours. The next morning, they woke up to the sound of gunshots. The zombies had breached their barricades and were trying to break into the warehouse. The group quickly sprang into action, grabbing their weapons and fighting off the undead. Sarah and her group were skilled fighters, and they managed to hold off the zombies. But it was clear that they couldn't stay in the warehouse any longer. They packed up their meager belongings and prepared to leave. As they were about to exit the warehouse, Sarah noticed something on the ground. It was a small Christmas present, wrapped in colorful paper. She picked it up and saw her name written on the tag. Curious, she opened the present and found a note inside. It was from a group of survivors who had stumbled upon the warehouse and saw the Christmas decorations. They had left the present as a way to spread a little bit of joy in this grim world. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she read the note. It was a reminder that there were still good people out there, trying to survive just like them. She shared the note with her group, and they all felt a glimmer of hope in their hearts. As they continued their journey, Sarah and her group held on to that small act of kindness. It reminded them that even in the darkest of times, there was still a bit of light left in the world. Months went by and the group faced many challenges. They lost some members along the way, but they also gained new ones. And every Christmas, they would gather together and remember that one special night in the warehouse, where they found a moment of peace in the midst of chaos. Years went by and the zombie apocalypse eventually came to an end. Sarah and her group were among the few survivors who managed to make it through. They looked back on that Christmas party in the warehouse as a symbol of their resilience and the enduring human spirit. And every Christmas, they would get together and celebrate, grateful for the second chance they were given. They would raise a toast to their fallen friends and to the unknown group who left them a Christmas present all those years ago. As the years went by, the memory of that Christmas party during the zombie apocalypse became a legend, passed down to future generations. And it served as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope.